My name's Daniel Turner, 32 years old, living in London, England. I work in finance, married to Emily just over a year ago. She's clever, charming, and everything I once thought was safe. Our life felt ordinary in the best way. Commutes, late dinners, weekend movies. I didn't know that comfort can hide storms waiting to break. A month after the wedding, I booked us a weekend in Brighton. Work had been brutal, and I wanted to remind us why we'd said, "I do." Emily was radiant that evening, long dress, soft curls, perfume like salt and roses. I remember thinking how lucky I was. It's strange how memory can turn into a knife when the truth finally arrives. We checked into a small boutique hotel near the pier, the kind with warm lights and creaky floors. Emily took forever getting ready, humming softly in front of the mirror. When she stepped out, I forgot every worry I had. She laughed when I stared too long, and we headed out into the Brighton night hand in hand. The bar we chose was lively. Music, chatter, the clink of glasses. We ordered drinks and found a corner table. I was halfway through a story about work when a man appeared behind her, greeting Emily with a grin that felt too familiar. "Mark Ellis," she said, "from head office." Something in her voice tightened. Mark was the confident type, city accent, expensive watch, eyes that didn't stay where they should. He asked how married life was, then kept talking like I wasn't there. I shook his hand, forced a smile, and watched the way Emily avoided his gaze. It was subtle, but my gut noticed what my mind refused to admit. He bought us another round before drifting back to his mates. I tried to brush it off, old colleagues catching up, that's all. But something about his grin lingered. I saw him whisper to his friends, their laughter sharp, pointed. Emily's smile vanished. She said she wanted to leave, voice tight like a held breath. Outside, the night air was cool against the heat inside me. Emily gripped my arm and said she just needed a change of place. I didn't press. I've always trusted her word more than my instincts. We walked the narrow streets toward the sea, the sound of waves mixing with faraway music. She was silent the whole way. Back in the hotel, Emily said she was tired and turned in early. I lay awake listening to the hum of traffic outside, staring at the ceiling fans spinning shadows. Her breathing steadied beside me, but mine didn't. Something about that man's eyes, like he knew a secret about us, about her. I told myself it was nothing, that I was imagining it. Marriage makes you paranoid sometimes. People from the past always reappear, right? Still, the thought stuck to me like damp air. I kept seeing Mark's smirk, the way his friends laughed. If only I'd known what that look really meant. The next morning, Emily was cheerful again, pretending nothing had happened. We had breakfast by the sea, gulls calling overhead, sunlight glinting off her ring. I smiled, played the role of the happy husband, but something had already shifted. Trust doesn't break with sound. It cracks quietly, almost politely. I didn't know then that the man from the bar had once been closer to my wife than I could imagine. That night was just a spark. The fire would come years later when she finally told me the truth. But in Brighton, all I felt was confusion, and the first faint chill of something I couldn't yet name. 4 years passed after that night in Brighton. Life moved in quiet circles. Work, dinners, birthdays. Emily and I looked like every other couple who'd figured out love. I stopped thinking about Mark. Maybe that was my mistake. You never truly bury a secret. You just build a garden over it and hope it doesn't rain. It was a Sunday morning when the truth came for me. Emily sat at the kitchen table, pale, her hands trembling around a mug she hadn't touched. "I need to tell you something," she said, voice breaking like thin glass. My first thought was illness. I wish it had been. She told me she'd been carrying it for years, that the guilt had eaten her alive. Then she said his name, Mark Ellis. For a second, it didn't register. It was like hearing a ghost speak. I could see her mouth moving, but the world went muffled, distant, like I was underwater. Emily said it happened months before our wedding, at the company's Christmas party. I was drunk, lost, she said. It didn't mean anything. The words bounced off me. My mind went straight to that night in Brighton, to Mark's grin, the laughter, the looks. It all made sense now, horribly so. I didn't shout. I didn't even move. Just sat there, hands clasped, heart hammering so loud I could hear it in my ears. I wanted to ask why, but the question felt pointless. I realized the answer wouldn't fix anything. Love built on lies isn't love, it's theater. She cried, begged me to say something, anything. But silence felt safer than words. Every memory rewrote itself inside my head, the wedding vows, the honeymoon, the smiles that now felt borrowed. I couldn't tell what was real anymore. That's the cruelty of betrayal. It edits your past. That night I slept on the couch, though I didn't sleep at all. The ceiling looked the same, but the air felt different, heavy. I kept seeing them in my mind. Him, her, laughter that wasn't mine. Rage flickered, but mostly there was emptiness. A hollow space where trust used to live. Photo prompt. Dim living room at night. Man lying awake on couch staring upward. TV light glow. Cinematic realism. In the morning, she handed me her phone, showed me messages she'd kept. Proof, she said, to make me believe it was over. I scrolled through the words, each one a wound I didn't know I still had skin for. She said she loved me. Always had. I couldn't tell if that made it better or worse. Photo prompt. Man reading text messages on phone at kitchen counter. Sunlight streaks across face. Tense emotional atmosphere. Realism. Days blurred into weeks. I moved into the spare room, told friends we were working things out. We still had dinner sometimes, still laughed once in a while, but something essential had gone missing. The ease. Now every smile was weighed, every silence suspicious. Photo prompt. Couple sitting apart at dinner table, candlelight casting long shadows, realistic domestic scene with emotional tension. One evening I drove alone to the sea, the same pier where we'd stayed years before. The air smelled the same, salt and rain. I stood watching the waves crash, thinking how love can be both shelter and storm. I didn't know if forgiveness was possible, only that forgetting wasn't. Photo prompt. Solitary man standing by Brighton Pier at twilight. Ocean waves crashing, overcast sky, cinematic emotional realism. When I came home, she was asleep on the couch, curled beneath the same blanket I'd used that first night apart. I looked at her face, peaceful, human, flawed. And for the first time I realized, forgiveness isn't about them. It's about whether you can live with the pieces left behind. Photo prompt. Soft lit living room at night. Man quietly watching sleeping woman on couch, warm shadows, realistic emotional photography. Months passed, each day quieter than the last. We tried therapy, long walks, honest talks that left us both raw. Sometimes I saw glimpses of the woman I'd loved before the confession. Sometimes just a stranger sharing my kitchen. Healing isn't loud. It's the sound of two people breathing in the same silence. Our counselor said trust can be rebuilt like a bridge, one plank at a time. But I wasn't sure the river beneath had stopped rising. I still woke at night, hearing echoes of that name, that night, that laughter. Emily reached for my hand once. I let her. It felt like holding history, not hope. One Saturday we drove to her parents' house in Surrey. On the way she played an old playlist from our university days, songs that once meant freedom. Now every lyric felt heavier. I realized love had changed shape. It wasn't gone, just scarred. Maybe that was enough to keep driving. That night she told me she'd been offered a promotion overseas. Maybe we both need a new start, she said softly. I nodded. For the first time, I didn't feel anger, just relief. Some endings arrived disguised as opportunities. The next morning we packed her suitcases together. The sound of zippers closing felt final. She hugged me at the doorway, trembling. "I'll always love you," she whispered. I wanted to say it back, but words can lie easier than hearts. Instead, I just said, "Be well." After she left, the flat felt too big. I filled it with small noises, radio, kettle, the click of my watch, yet the silence between them spoke loudest. Forgiveness, I learned, isn't a gift you give once. It's a choice you remake every morning. Seasons changed. I redecorated, joined a running group, learned how to cook something other than toast. Life returned in fragments. I even laughed again, genuinely, without guilt. Pain had become a teacher, not a tenant. Sometimes I still see her name on old photos or mutual posts online. I don't delete them anymore. They remind me of a version of us that existed, flawed but real. Love doesn't vanish. It transforms into memory, into the quiet proof that we once tried. Last weekend I returned to Brighton. The same pier, same sea, different man. I watched the gulls dive and thought of how easily joy can drown if you stop tending it. I breathed, slow and steady, letting the salt air wash over the last of my anger. The tide took the rest. Standing there, I finally understood. Endings aren't failures. They're instructions for who you'll become next. Emily's betrayal broke me, yes, but it also made space for truth, humility, and the strength to begin again. Some stories end quietly, but they still end right. When I reached my car, I caught my reflection in the window, older, steadier. I smiled, not because I'd forgotten, but because I'd survived. And maybe that's what love really teaches us. Not how to hold on, but how to let go with grace.